Plug your headphones in. Okay, hi everybody, it's Miss Danae here. I just put together a quick tutorial in case you missed the last session or the one before, or just in case you forgot. That's totally understandable because we only have this once a week and it's hard to remember everything from week to week. Okay, first thing I want you to do is go to your program website. Alright, this tutorial is not going to focus on GitHub. We'll work on that next time, but remember that GitHub is where you store all your code online, just in case you want to go back to an earlier version. Alright, log into GitHub anyway, because once you log into GitHub, then it's already connected to Codio, because we did that during the first session. Alright, so we're going to be working with Codio today, just getting started. Okay. I'm logged into a student's account just so that you can see it from your perspective. Okay, if you haven't already, complete these two. They're just tutorials that walk you through basic HTML tags and CSS. Alright, for this tutorial, we're going to start from scratch. I want you to go to My Projects, and we're going to start a new project from scratch. I want everybody to do this, even if you did it last time, just because muscle memory will help you with your code. I'm going to name this one Practice. You can click on public, I think, or private. I usually just have private, and fill out the description. For the tutorial, because I only have a little time to do this, I'm going to be using shortcuts. I want you guys to try to type everything out because muscle memory is really going to help when you code. All right. So here is our file structure here. We have a folder named Practice, and we have to put two files in there. We have to put an HTML file and a CSS file because that's what our website is going to be. So to do this, go up to File, and we're going to do a new file. We're going to name this one index.html. Now, you can technically name it whatever you want. You can put whatever words you want here and then .html, but if you don't have the .html, it's not going to be rendered as a website, so make sure that you do that. Okay, so we have our HTML file right here. Now, we have to tell the computer that this is HTML. To do that, we need a file tree. This is the file tree that I want you to type out. So if you need to, pause and then go to your code and type this out. We talked about tags the first class. Every tag, well, not every tag, some are self-closing, but you typically have an open tag and then a close tag. Notice that the difference is that this backslash is there. So what this is doing is saying that everything between them is considered a web language. It's considered something that's going to show up on the web. Right. In our open and close head tag, in between them, this is where we're going to put all of our file links. The title of when we publish this online, this is what's going to show up in a tab. For instance, it would say website practice up here. That's what title does. Okay? And within the body, within the open and closing body tags, everything that we put in here is going to show up on the website. So let's practice with just our H tags. So this is a heading tag, and let's just type something in here. Okay, so this is my first website, and let's give it a subtitle. Now with H tags, they only go up to 6, but the higher the number, the smaller it is. Okay, let's just make sure that this is working. It should work because we have it in between the body tags. To do that, go up to go up to Project Index, and this is what it's going to look like online. Okay, let's do another tag. Let's do a paragraph tag. So we have open and close, and then we put paragraph in there. And that's going to show up. Alright, so these are our tags. Now, it might not show up right away because you have to refresh. On a Mac, it's Command R. I think on a Windows, it's Control R. Or you can just click the refresh button too. Alright, so this is what the entire website would look like without CSS. we need CSS in order to get those cool colors and to make font a little bit more interesting. This is default. This is the Times New Roman default font. This is what's going to show up unless you tell it to do something else. All right, so to make this a little bit more stylish, we need another file here. Let's go up to New File. We're going to create a CSS file. I'm going to name it style.css because that's what CSS is. It's a cascading style sheets. So you can name this part whatever you want as long as you have that .css right after. Okay, then it pops up. Now, I don't like having to click between everything. So this is my personal preference. You don't have to do this, but I find it easier to view everything at the same time. So what I'm going to do is change the view to split horizontally. I'm going to take my website preview and then just drag it down here so that it pops up. And then I'm going to split this window so that I see my HTML and CSS at the same time. Split this vertically. Whoops. Okay, so make sure that your cursor is somewhere in this box and then go to split it vertically. And then this window pops up. Drag your CSS over here. Whoops. Okay, so just drag it and it pops up over there. Basically, this plus whatever is in here is going to equal this down here. All right, now let's go give it a background color. The syntax for CSS is different. When I say the word syntax, I mean the order that the punctuation is arranged. So we're going to take body. That means like our entire page down here. And we're going to give it a background color. Use the drop-down menu just because it's easier for spelling. Let's give it a background color of orange, do a little pumpkin test. All right. The reason why I want you to use the drop-down menu for that is because it's so easy to misspell something, and if you misspell it, it's not going to work. For instance, I had a student the other day that spelled background like this. Now, Codio tells you that something is wrong because it pops up in red saying that there's an error. Now, your code could be completely correct, but you might have something misspelled, and it's not going to work. Okay? If I preview it, it's still not going to work. The reason why is because we have to tell our HTML that this CSS exists. We have to connect the CSS sheet to the index.html. Now, between your heading tags, this is where we want to have that link to the style sheet. So this is a tag that links this page to this page. In between the quotations, we have to, whatever we named it up here is what we're going to be typing in here. So I named it style.css, and it should work now when I refresh. All right, let's give it a little bit more style. Let's say that I want all of my text to be blue. Now, if you want to change the color of the text, you just type in color, and then put a semicolon at the very end. Without the semicolon, it's not going to work. Okay. So this is styling everything that's within the body. If I want to get a little bit more specific, let's say that I wanted the paragraph to be a different color. I would take whatever tag that the paragraph is in this case it's P, do a curly brace, and then let's make this, it's going to be really ugly, but let's make it red. Okay, so because I pulled this out and I'm styling it individually, that's why it worked. All right, something else that you can do inside of your CSS, let's say that you want a different font. All right, let's make the title a different font. So I'm taking this H1, this title right here, which is this right here, and I'm going to style it with a font family. There are several different types of font families. And on your program website, I just put a link right there for you. And you can see the different kinds. And it shows up over here. I'm going to take this one. And inside my font family, just going to paste it in, put a semicolon, hit refresh, and that's how it shows up. Let's center this title. To do that, we have text align center, text align, and then just type in center, and it should shift over to the center. Cool. All right, I'm going to teach you a couple more things with HTML. We're going to let's add a picture. Okay, this is a picture tag. This is a self-closing tag. You put the link to the picture inside here. This is the source. It's basically saying where did the picture come from. Let's just Google something really fast. Let's take this one. I'm going to copy image or copy image address. Go back over to my code, paste the picture in here. And then I'm going to name it cat. In case this link breaks, or when you hover over the picture, this is what's going to show up. Okay, but this is way too big. It's bigger than I wanted it to be. So I'm going to do a little styling within my HTML. You could do this in your CSS, but I just want to keep everything together. I'm going to type in height equals, and then let's just say 100. Actually, let's use percentage. Let's say that we want it 50% of the original size. See if that works. Cool. So I shrunk it by typing in height. Now pay attention to how the syntax is here. We have height equals and then in quotes. If we were to do this in our CSS, we would use a colon, no quotes, and then just the semicolon over there. Okay. So you know, four types of tags. Let's do a quick link tag. This is important to know because when somebody is on your website, you want to make it as easy for them to use as possible. So let's say you want a link to, let's do Google. You don't want them typing in whatever the URL is. You just want to have them click and then go there. It's not going to show up because we have to give it a name. So in between these two things, we're just going to say Google. If we refresh the page, see we have Google down here. If we click on this, it's not going to work right away because we are inside of Codio, but trust me, once you publish your websites, this will work and they will be redirected to Google. All right, to make it a little bit more clean, I'm going to put that link underneath. I'm going to type in a break. So I'm saying break this line of code so that it shows up underneath, and it does down there. Okay. One more thing I'm going to show you is, last time we played with YouTube videos, YouTube makes it very easy for you to do this. They basically just give you the code. I really like The Simpsons, so I'm just going to type in, actually here's one. Okay. Go down to where it says share, embed, and then it gives you all the code right here. If you want to change the size of it, you would go into here and change that after you put it inside of your HTML. All right, so I'm going to take that, let's put it right here. Remember, it has to go within the body tags. Refresh, and there you go. Okay. Now, if you want to look at other things that you could do within here, I'm going to be adding notes up here, so just click on this. Try to play around with this best that you can, and try adding different CSS attributes. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.